Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 28 of Tech Town.
Tech Town!
That's right, I'm Mr. Ellsberg. This is our town wizard. We're here to talk all things tech. We're back from a mini break where we are out getting a little further away from technology than we have been.
That's true. You know, normally we are right in the middle of technology. And even though we were out kind of camping into the music festival, there still was pretty cool technology. So
that's right. We got all sorts of crazy, cool art and experiences that over the last week at What the Festival, and we 100% give it our Tech Town stamp of approval.
True.
Next year, we've heard through the grapevine, which we may have planted ourselves.
Yeah, we were the grapevine.
That Tech Town will be the headliner next year at What the Fest. That's right. And as part of our performance, on top of the fire-breathing dragon stage, we will have all sorts of unts and drops throughout our Tech Town episode, which will be live. And I think it will be a 2.5-hour set.
At least. I know they were trying to clear the schedule to get us in there. But yeah, I mean, what better combination of tech podcasts, YouTube thing, and electronic beats?
That's right. So next year during summer solstice, if you don't have anything to do between the hours of 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning, please come to What the Festival.
Tech Town.
Where Tech Town will be crushing it. But no, really, we got all things tech today to talk to you, and we're going to jump right into it. We're talking browsers today.
Browsers, yeah. So web browsers. We talked a little about web browsers before. This one's a little refresher because it's funny to me how vital and important web browsers are, how everywhere they are, how everybody uses them all the time, and still nobody really understands what that is or what that name is, anything. So everybody, we gotta understand what a web browser is.
So what's a web browser?
So a web browser is just this little window on your computer, on your phone, on whatever, little window just like that lets you go to websites. You know? You remember websites? Like you go to like google.com or you go to www.whatever. Those things, you type them in a web browser. So you may think, oh, well, I could go to my Google app. Okay, that's good. You can do a lot of the same things as an app in an app as you could as a web browser.
Right.
But they're just different. So let's talk about the web browsers, which ones there are, which ones are better, why would you choose one over the other. So really what they all are is this like window into the web. So if you have this page like www.google.com, you can visit that page in Firefox, in Chrome, in Opera, Safari, Internet Explorer, all these things. These are all different browsers.
Those are some of the popular ones.
Those are the popular ones, right? And there's about a zillion. You know, those aren't the only ones.
Yeah, I prefer Netscape. I think we've talked about this before.
Oh yeah, and that was classic. But you may want to move off of that.
Oh man,
it's a new world here. So they're all supposed to basically show you the exact same Google.com. It would be like weird if it showed you a different one. You know, they want to all show you the same one. So how that works is they all have to agree on these standards. So that's when you hear of like HTML. It's the kind of the language of the internet and web design. And CSS and JavaScript, these programming languages. All they are is this agreement for everybody who's building one of these little windows to build the same kind of a window. Right. So, you know, when Firefox does it, it's got to look the same. So the thing is, well, when they all look the same, well, why should we have a difference? You know, let's just choose one and be done with it. Well, that little window part is one feature of a browser and make it look right, but they also have a zillion other things.
Right, exactly.
So like, what's something you've used in a browser once? Have you like clicked something?
Yeah, I've clicked like refresh.
Oh, refresh. There you go. Yeah. Okay. See, so you have this window, but you need to actually do some things with it. You need to refresh it. You need to go back. You need to go forward. So a lot of these kinds of basic things, everybody kind of built in the same.
Bookmarks.
Okay. And then sometimes someone would come out with something kind of exciting and cool. And then the other browsers would sort of scramble and try and make it also. Right. So like one example of it is that Chrome has been pretty good about syncing things across devices. Right. So you were talking about bookmarks. So let's say you have your laptop and you have your phone and then maybe you have a work computer too. Right. If on your laptop you bookmark a site, if on your phone you're signed into your Google account so it knows, that bookmark will also show up on your phone. Right. And then also show up on your work computer. So not just bookmarks though, but like settings, you know, maybe you have some settings with your privacy or your passwords or your account information. That will also be synced across all the devices. Right, and your general searches. General searches, yeah, so, what your history is. And then also we'll talk a little more about the add-ons and extensions. You know, any of these little things that you'd add on to your browser those will show up too.
Right.
So that was cool. Chrome did that, and then Firefox was like, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Yeah. And then so did everybody else. So everybody else kind of made it too. So eventually, once these cool ideas get out there, most of the other browsers will sort of adopt them.
Right.
Another good example is tabs.
Ooh,
these days, really tabs seem like they're obvious.
Omnipresent.
Omnipresent. But before, there were no such thing as tabs. You would open multiple windows.
Right.
So you just have one window with one web page. If you want another one, you'd open a whole nother one. Now you got the little tabs. You can switch back and forth.
Yep.
And not only that, some of these browsers, especially Opera, have gone all in on this tab thing. They like stack tabs. They have these views of tabs in tabs and on tabs and over tabs. Whoa. So if you want to get all in on tabs, I do recommend Opera too. But
yeah, tab is delicious, by the way. If you've ever had tab in the drink, tab cola.
Maybe they should come out.
Yeah, so Opera, you know, they're really into the colas there. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. Basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. Healthy colas.
Another one that's fun for all these things is themes. You know, you can have different, like, you know, it's not the actual web page itself. It's just the borders and the things around it. You can have different themes. You can make it like mountains and fun things. Okay, let's talk about extensions and add-ons for a little bit. Chrome calls them extensions. Firefox calls them add-ons.
Right.
The other ones call them other things. It's these little tools that you can add to your browser that help out a little bit. Sometimes they're totally separate from the web page that you're looking at. For example, like you can have one that's just for Gmail. And it doesn't matter what page you're on. You can just click the Gmail one to sort of instantly get to Gmail and do some Gmail things.
Right.
There's other ones that actually interact with the page that you're on. So LastPass, for example, is a great one, which is the password manager. So that actually interacts with the pages that you're visiting because it'll fill in the passwords for the pages that you care about.
And that's like this that we've got right here. And so in your Google Chrome, the extensions are at the top right, and so you see got the ad blocker and you know, Gmail and the calendar. So those are some of them, in Bitly, which we could talk about before.
Yeah, exactly.
And so those are some of the ones that are, just like a quick, you know, jump to those programs, or it just has the tool right there available for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one fun thing about all these things is pretty customizable. So even just like if you didn't like the order in which those buttons are in, you can just drag them around and change them, or maybe some of them you don't use very much, so you can kind of hide them.
Right.
So try dragging things around a lot. That's one thing, is you can make it pretty customizable.
Right. Also, with home pages and with tabs, you can even set those so when you open it, there's a certain set of tabs that you can open.
Yeah.
So working at the school facility that I work at, I worked with our tech to make sure that so when students open their computers of their browsers, there are 3 tabs that open. There's schoolwork, their Gmail, and then also Google Docs. So those pop open, and they just stay open, you know, unless they manually close them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's a nice idea. I mean, in a way, it's like, really, do we need to just prevent, you know, or save time from just clicking a couple things? But if you do that every day, every time you start up a computer, and it's just kind of nice to have it just be magical.
Yeah. And, you know, it cuts time and out of it makes it more efficient. You know, you can really start getting into your workflow quickly.
Yeah, you're not thinking about loading up pages.
Right.
Another one that's a pretty cool idea, especially when you're thinking about like work or school related things versus home, is the different sort of profiles you can do. So in Chrome, and I've seen you do this, in the upper right, you can have this button that says, I want to be this kind of me that logs in with these accounts and knows these things, has these settings, versus this kind of me. So maybe for school, you want to be a little more, you don't want to put in your credit card informations to things. Right. You want to have different sets of bookmarks and different sets of cookies. Like you automatically want to log in to this site, but you don't automatically log into this site. Versus when you're now at home and you want all the opposites. Right. So that's really cool. You can have these different profiles.
Right. And then, you know, you don't want to have the same distractions. You put yourself into a space where, like for say in your office or something like that, you don't want to have all sorts of things that distract you from doing the work that you want to do when you're in the office. So you could really do that through browsers as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's nice that they give you this profile for whatever mood you're in. All right, so just a couple things about like which one should you use. You know, I'd say at this point, I would recommend Chrome or Firefox. And you can use some of the other ones. It's not like they're terrible or anything, but I think the couple reasons are, number one, it actually is really important that a lot of other people are using it.
Yeah.
because then you just find problems or the updates come faster. So, in a way, it's just like if there are a lot of people using it, a lot of updates will come and things will happen. So it's kind of a lame excuse of why to use something, but
it's kind of like with social networking apps, right?
Yeah.
So what's the point of being on Friendster if none of your friends are on?
It's true, yeah. So I think there are definitely some specific things about some specific browsers. So one example is that the performance of browsers. Over time, you can see kind of, Chrome's a little faster now, and then Firefox a little slower, and then, IE does this new thing that gets it way faster, but then Chrome does it. So there's this like history of which one's faster, but that's not even so easy to understand. What faster means is actually different in a lot of scenarios. Sometimes it needs to like draw really fancy graphics.
Right.
Sometimes it needs to play videos. Sometimes it just needs to be able to resize pages well, or load up very fast, or not use lots of memory. So what you can do is you can go to these sites that are called benchmarks. And what they'll do is they'll run the browsers through all the tests they can and come up with these numbers that say which one's like faster than the other. So right now it seems like Firefox is doing pretty well on memory usage.
Right.
Meaning when you like open it up, it's not going to bog down your whole computer. Chrome got a little bit bloated. It's starting to bog down things a little bit. On the other hand, Chrome does have some of the faster performance benchmarks. So like when it's trying to do a movie or play a game or whatever, Chrome sometimes seems to be a little bit faster.
Right.
But try them out, see what you think.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that, so I've found, because I use so many Google apps, that Chrome works for me. But, there's something also really cool about Firefox not being a, super giant corporation as well, kind of being the underdog.
Yeah, so and that's kind of, I think, Firefox's place in the world right now, is that they're really about privacy. They're trying to add features about privacy and not be the big dog. It's they're supposed to be this underdog, even though they're pretty big.
Where Google is, their business model, which we talked about before, is, making sure that those companies that are giving the money have the data that they need, to be able to, operate.
Yeah, and it's good to remember that. And so Chrome and Firefox are kind of the main big ones. But again, there's Safari, definitely popular. Opera is another one. And then Internet Explorer, but we're getting to the future of Internet Explorer because Microsoft is renaming it or coming up with a new one. Rebranding. And it's going to be called Microsoft Edge.
Right. So it's hard to say Edgeploder than Exploder.
That's true.
Explorer. Exploder. Edgeploder.
Wow, you got to be the marketing person for Microsoft, because that's probably better than what they'll do.
Right.
But so
it's harder to make fun of Edge. They probably threw all sorts of different ways. All right, so how it's like Dredge, maybe something like that. They didn't think about that, did they?
No. Now we can get them. So really, most of what is important is coming out with the name.
Right.
But
Microsoft jump off the ledge. I mean.
That's pretty good. Okay. There's a feature in this for you.
Yeah. And so that would be an example of, that Explorer really took a few big hits, I would say, like in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
As far as getting a really poor name for itself when it came to performance.
It was, and it was actually really about the standards thing, which is like we were talking about before, all these browsers are just a window into the web. But if they don't all agree on what they should do, then things get messy. So one of the big problems was Internet Explorer just sort of said, well, we think it's better to do things this way. And it may actually have been better, or it may not have. But the point is, once you do it differently, then as a web developer, when I'm writing a web page, then you have to do things in two different ways.
Right.
So it works the same. Right. It looks the same on Internet Explorer as this. So even if it was a better browser, or it had more features, or was faster, just because they decided different things than these guys.
Right.
So now we're all really kind of coming back, and Internet Explorer 9, 10, 11 have really brought it back to the standards.
Right.
Now with this Edge thing, it's basically about, okay, we're back to where we were, and now let's do some cool features and make it a nice experience. So they're going to have a couple of things.
They're coming with the Microsoft Sledgehammer. Is that what they're trying to do? To bust up the market?
Yes.
Okay.
Nailed it again. So their Sledgehammer Hammer is has a couple features. One of them, I think, that stuck out a little bit is being able to draw on web pages and have those drawings be there for you or other people later. Nice. So like, let's say you're like, oh, this is a cool part of the article, and you like circle it or maybe write a little note. Those drawings can show up on your computer when you're looking at that same web page.
That's great.
So yeah, and that's especially good with a tablet or something when you have or a phone when you can touch it. So kind of cool. I don't think it's going to be revolutionary, and I don't think everybody's going to flock to it. But you know, I think what's also important is that there is competition. Yeah. Because as soon as you don't get competition, one browser is just going to be like, oh, I don't care. Let's just do lame stuff. Right. So you got to have these other ones coming in there.
Exactly.
There's also obviously mobile web browsers. We've been talking about them, I'd say mostly in context of a computer or laptop, but obviously it's on the phone too. So on your phone, you can get Chrome, you can get Firefox, you can get Opera, you can get the mobile versions of these. They have similar features as the desktop ones.
Dolphin's another one that's not, computer web browser.
Yeah.
It pops up on your phone.
Yeah. Cool. And in the show notes, I have linked to a bunch of them that they compare them to see which one's the best. And then lastly, let's talk about Tor. The idea of Tor is an anonymous browser. So about like privacy. Okay. So with all these other ones, they'll do a little bit about your privacy. Like, for example, Firefox will say, we have this do not track feature. Right. It's like, wow, that's really cool. Well, it doesn't actually really do anything. Yeah. What it does is every time you visit a web page, it says to that web page, hey, I don't want to be tracked. And that's all it does. Whoa. The web page is the one that has to actually do something, but they don't necessarily always do something. Right. So it's really just like a little, like, you're wearing a sign. It's like, hey, please don't track me if you don't mind. But they could just be like, I don't care. So that's pretty good. But now Tor is, this privacy is built in so that when you visit a web page, it's actually anonymous from where you're coming from to where you're visiting. So it's a little techy. It's a little bit of a mess. It's also been found to not be completely secure. Right. But all that aside, it is kind of the way of the future.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Where we need built into the browser itself this anonymous concept where we can not be tracked everywhere with everything.
Yeah, it's very cool. Awesome. Well, that is all things browsers.
Oh yeah, always browsers.
In a smash kind of way. Man, yeah, we brought it to you big time, which brings us to our music
side of the week. Speaking of coming back from a music festival, so this week's music side of the week is about how to remove the vocals from MP3s or music tracks. Oh, wow. So, maybe you wanted to karaoke, I'm assuming.
Yes. And other people are okay singers.
Well, yeah, but not as good, right?
No, I sound way better to
myself. So it's not even karaoke at that point. It's really just re-recording their vocals and then making it bigger than they did.
Right.
So, Michael Jackson, watch out. So this is an article on how to remove the vocals from a music track and only the vocals. So I got to give a caveat. It's not always perfect. It's not going to just be amazing and the vocals are just disappeared and everything else sounds perfect. Maybe it's going to sound a little tinny or there's going to be little vocals left. But if you need to maybe make a presentation or you want to be performing a song or you want just an instrumental track. Yeah. A lot of times maybe you want to just take out the vocals.
Yeah, take them out and make a sample, like, you said it's a sample and start making some unts and beats and
yeah, that's right. So this one, it tells you how to do it using this program called Audacity. We've talked about Audacity before. It's a free music editor. You can do the same process with a lot of these other music editors, but this one's nice because it's free and it tells you how to do it. So the idea really centers around the fact that vocal tracks are usually put in the center of the music. So when you can pan things left, so it's only in the left earphone or the left speaker, or you pan things right. Most instruments in a recording are sort of panned a little bit this way or a little bit this way, not just directly in the center. The vocals are usually directly in the center. Right. So really what you're doing in this process is you're saying, okay, take all the things that are only in the center only, and then take those out, which leaves everything else that's kind of on the left and right, which theoretically isn't the vocals.
Very cool.
So yeah, check it out, make some instrumentals, and see if you can, take out some vocals.
Yeah, and then start your jam.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and finally, we're going to be talking about security.
Security. Oh no, a crack.
Oh, crack. Oh, yeah, there's a crack in the wall.
Okay, we're fixing that crack. Nope. So with the topic of web browsers, we're going to spend just 30 seconds on the topic of certificate authorities. This is a crazy complicated topic, but it's actually like one of the most important things because it's what makes our web communication secure. So let's say you're logging into Google or your bank account for that matter. When you're logging in, you're giving them your password, which is secure. You know, you don't want to give that away. Not only that, you're hoping that that site you went to is actually your bank.
Right.
What if it wasn't your bank?
All right, the old Sykes.
Sykes. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Sykes.
Well, so yeah, like for instance, I called up what I thought was my insurance company, but I left one number different when I made the call.
Yeah.
And it brought me to this other place that was posing as my insurance company.
Really?
Yeah, and it was trying to get me to sign up for sweepstakes. And I already won. And I was just like, wait, this is weird. And I tried calling it again and again. I'm like, what's going on?
Whoa.
Well, there you go. Same sort of thing. You could type one letter off on something, and then boom.
Yeah,
and so website.
Right, and so what it is that let's say we had none of this certificate authority thing. You would type in the wrong one. It would go to the website. It would look exactly like the same website, and there would be no way to tell the difference.
Right.
Not only that, when you were giving them your password, maybe they didn't do the security very well, so that anybody could get your password. What a certificate authority does is a certificate authority is a group who gives out certificates, and these certificates aren't like most improved player. It's like a digital certificate that's signed digitally saying this really is what it is. And that's the best way I could describe it really quick. This really is what it is.
Right.
So when you go to your bank's website, imagine even if you didn't type the wrong thing, if you typed the right thing, but it still messed it up and was sneaky, this prevents that. This prevents people taking your encrypted password. This prevents people from snooping in on your traffic and messing with it. You know, maybe you went to google.com, but someone in the middle of it said, oh, nope, replaced.
Wow.
Here's no new google.com, what I want Google to be. So the certificate authority are these companies that basically have to put their signature on every other company that says, I'm really who I am. And once we trust these guys, then we trust those guys, then the web works.
Holy smokes.
So
well, mad props to certificate authorities because that is awesome. And if we didn't have them, I mean, where would we be? I mean, all my money would be like, in some offshore account owned by Donald Trump, probably.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Don't want that.
No, we don't.
Get rid of Trump, use certificate authorities.
That's right. And so we talked all things web browsers. Every single thing that you could need to possibly know, scraping the surface. Cliff Note version of web browsers. We talked about how to remove vocals on music.
Oh yeah, I want to hear some instrumental tracks.
That's right. We talked about certificate authorities, and we even mentioned about What's the Fest, which is a great festival. We went 100% stamp of approval. Like I said, we'll be the headliners there next year.
Definitely.
Yeah, not a big deal. So we will see you here again. I guess, when we are available.
That's true.
This is a summer
break.
times. All right, guys. So we'll see you again soon. Take care, guys. We're signing out. Bye-bye.
Peace.